It's gonna be a while till the new office is ready, so that just means I need to be more organized and more focused than ever. Hey everyone, I'm Tiffany, and this situation right here, kind of a good metaphor for how my life has felt recently. Chaos. My workspace is currently in a small, cluttered room, and I just never seem to know where my stuff is. I take notes, write them down on paper, then I lose them. I make folders on my computer, and then I can't remember how I filed them. But in the last few months, I've fallen hard for Notion, the organization app. And I've been putting together a personal life hub, all with the plan of being more efficient and productive in 2023. So I have time left over for a better quality of life, AKA actual spare time, not spent working. I'm going to show you some of the free templates that I'm using and loving, how I've converted them to make them work best for me personally, and the shortcuts on Notion that I find myself using all the time. Plus, outside of Notion, a habit tracker app that I love and a personal growth app that I'm also really into. It's not free, but it is a really low cost. First of all, if you are new to Notion, let me be the first to tell you the amazing news. It is free for personal use. And no annoying paywalls either. The only thing I've run into is one time I tried to upload a file larger than 5 megabytes. If you're doing that with photos, it's an easy workaround to downsize them. So that's not an issue for me. It is on a per file basis. It's not 5 megabytes for all your stuff in Notion. There are a ton of YouTube videos to help you figure out whatever you want to know. I love it on the desktop, and their phone app is pretty great too. It has some quick links at the top which make it easy to navigate, and your favorites are also right up top. Oh, and I guess I should say this video is not sponsored at all by Notion. I'm just really into it. So let me tell you how I got here. A year ago, when I brought on some editors for the first time, I realized I really needed to get my creator brain organized, and I started using ClickUp. I actually use the paid version with that for a project management tool, and it's been working out pretty well. And they do have a free plan, and once I started using Notion, I realized a lot of the shortcuts are actually the same in ClickUp. That's another option if you're just getting started here. But for me, ClickUp is totally associated with work, and I wanted something for me personally, my life hub, my place where I could just store everything and anything and not lose it again. Oh, and also it could be pretty. Another thing pushing me towards this moment of self-organization was actually Brendan Burchard. Last year I bought the starter plan on his GrowthDay app. He gives you daily pep talks on a variety of self-growth topics with useful advice, and he's really into planning, with the idea that the more you schedule, the more you'll get things done, and then the more free time you'll have for your personal life. I'm really inspired by his daily fires, and then I started to use the goal planner within the app. Really got me thinking about what I wanted to get done in 2023, but then I couldn't change the orange color. And that's what set me off on a deep dive on YouTube, because if I was going to organize for me personally, it's got to be something that I want to spend a lot of time in. It's got to be visually appealing and just work for my brain. And so that's where I found Notion. And that's also where I heard of this term for the first time, second brain. And I couldn't believe I'd never heard of it before because it makes so much sense. It takes so much energy to keep all your tasks, all your to-dos, and everything else just in your head, or on a list over here, or in that notebook over there, or in your phone. Where was it again? Enough of that. let's dive into Notion. So here we are in my main homepage. People call this their HQ, their headquarters, their homepage. I was inspired by a YouTuber named Jules Acree. Jules Acree? I don't know how to say your name, Jules. She had a really cool planning video and she called this her life hub, and I loved it. I thought, great, this is how I'm going to organize my whole life planning system. I have 6 different categories. I love the fact that it's all above the fold. That's an old newspaper term for what you see on the front page when it's folded over, so it's the top half. This is above the fold. I don't have to scroll anywhere. I can easily see all the files that affect my life. I've got dashboards, personal. This one would probably be better named favorite recipes because it's some recipes that I want to try. I'm getting kind of cute with these titles. I should probably be more straightforward because I have a feeling later I might forget what that means. And then I'll be wondering, why am I not putting cut out sugar into this page or health into this page? If you are new to Notion, this is one of your favorite shortcuts. As soon as you click in, type / and then you get all the things you could ever want to do right here. And when you start typing something like to-do list, it populates at the top. So there you've got a checkbox. And then you don't have to do that every time you want a new checkbox. After you write down your task, you just press return and it immediately populates with another checkbox. Up here, I went with a heading. You can see when you highlight it what type of heading I went with. I could have gone with heading 3, heading 1, which is bigger, 3 is smaller. This is also when you have the option to color the background. You can also change the color of the actual font. You know, I'm really glad that they actually don't have that many choices for fonts, because if I had more choices than this, I would spend a lot of time thinking about it. I have small text here. I have full width on the page. I think automatically they might populate with a smaller width. Full width is definitely working for me. This is just the beginning for me. I am just loving how this is helping me feel so organized about my life. These all head out to separate pages that I have created. So more on those in a minute. I actually went into Canva. I had a photo from Hawaii that I found inspiring, and then later I added a title because I thought, oh, this is taking up space here. I want to really make sure that this is above the fold. So I thought I could delete this line and it would be gone. But then look what happens over here on the left. Your page is no longer titled. You have to have this title here, as far as I can tell. I wasted a solid 20 minutes in Canva doing this cool little title, which I didn't need because my titles always got to be there. So FYI, I am letting you know. Let's go into a page that I spend all day, every day in, and I like to actually just have it up on my screen all the time. When I get multiple screens for my office, I think this could be up a lot. So this page isn't achieving above the fold nirvana for me, but it's getting close. Sometimes these checklists also can get a little long and unwieldy, so my weekly planner doesn't always stay as tidy as this. And this weekly planner is a free template. Again, I'll link down to it below. It comes from Jules Acree's shared hub with her free templates. You can just go into it and easily duplicate her templates and then personalize them yourself. But you can see how the original template was right here. And she's even got some tips up there. So I loved it. I loved the simpleness of it and the colors. It's looking a little messier now that it's over here. It's kind of a work in progress. I put a picture up here to remind me that working remotely is the dream. I need more tropical in my life. I also have some inspirational quotes up here from Brendan Burchard. I think actually there's a cooler way for them to be here, but I'm trying to not overdo it on the time I'm spending designing this. I did, however, figure out widgets just so I could have this calendar in here. Oh, and if you want to change the width of your columns, this is a 3-column area. You just can kind of drag things around. So that's an easy little shortcut there. This calendar, the highlight for the day changes every day, but you can go back and see last month. I got this calendar from a place called Widgetbox. I'm not going to go through and show you how I designed it because you only get 4 in the free plan. I used 1. Sorry, Widgetbox. I'm not going to get a subscription, but I am going to tell everyone about your site because I thought it was so great. There's a few ones on the free plan that just work really well in Notion. There's one here that I'm thinking about doing because it's got a random quote generator. You can also throw in a quote that you like and do any color you want. It was so easy. I couldn't believe how fast it was for me to put in there. I'll link to that below. I'm starting to love toggles. I'm not even going to show you what's in my backlog because it's overwhelming. I didn't want to see it every day, all day long. I only want to see it when I want to deal with it. So I hid it behind a toggle. This is still Jules' instruction there. This thing that was rattling around my brain and I wanted to get it out of there, put it in the brain drain, even though it's 4 months away. When I close a toggle, I don't even have to see it. Easiest way to get a toggle on your Notion page is to type in \. You can put in T to get even closer to it. You can put in O and it's right there. Then you're adding in your own toggle list. Over here on the side, you can just see your favorites or you can hide them. You can also have a private section if you're using this for Teams or something. I'm not using it for Teams. Let me show you some of the other templates that are free that I've been using. This one, free from Notion, is called QuickNote. It's just makes it really easy for you to quickly create a new page and also get used to how things work in Notion. I use this for this high performance habits course that I am taking from Brendan Burchard. Oh, and by the way, if you toggle down, you don't have to go to the page and then click through the page to get there. You can get there from your contents, your table of contents on the sidebar. You know, I take these courses and then I take these notes and they go into notebooks and then the notebooks go into a drawer and I never look at them ever again. But here I'm taking some notes and not only are his course is divided into like 6 different habits. It's a pretty cool course actually. It came free with my annual starter subscription to GrowthDay. And it was so easy and so fast to write down things really quickly and also do like little headings and things. Normally my notes are pretty messy when I handwrite them. If you press return, you're always going to get the same thing right below. But also if you just wanted to do a bullet point like that, just type in hyphen and then space. Boom, you've got a bullet point. If you suddenly wanted to change something to bold or italics or underline it, you could create a link, you could add a comment, all kinds of things going on here. Just like on the Mac keyboard, Command Z is undo on Notion. So I love that. I'm always pressing that, Command Z. Here I had some things still to do. Maybe I don't want to see my list, maybe it's bugging me, so I've got it in the toggle. You know, it keeps everything tidy. I still have some ideas here from the original template. I was thinking, oh, maybe I should put some videos here. Next free template, again, this is one of Notion's main templates. Notion has tons of templates and they have divided them all up into different areas. And then if you're not loving templates here, you can go down a rabbit hole. You can check out the template gallery created by a ton of different people. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. I have found a template in here. I'll share them with you, but heads up, you might be spending some time in here if you go down this path. So in keeping with that theme, I'll just show you that I thought this subscription tracker provided by Notion in their regular templates area is pretty cool. I think many of us has too many subscriptions these days, so this is a good way to keep track of them and see how much the heck you're spending on it. And it's figured out a formula. So you don't have to figure that stuff out, which is awesome. And the sum automatically appears at the bottom here. So I use this for my courses because I have quite a few courses that I am taking or I have taken. I don't even think I have all of them in here. Oh, here's Jules' shared Notion templates. So you can see here, Video Ranking Academy. I actually linked this. I learned so much about YouTube from Sean Cannell's courses, and video ranking is one of his main courses. I've got my whole library linked up here though. It's so easy to get to. I was finding that I was always just hoping that my computer would remember once I started typing something, which website I was looking for, and that is just not a good way to be organized. Another template I liked was this video project tracker for YouTubers. This is from Thomas Frank. He's on YouTube and he gives a lot of good advice about Notion and getting organized. So I adapted this for Tiffany Inc. It's still got a lot of his original stuff in there, but I actually have the script for today's video in here. He had lots of things in here already. The URL after it's published, video number of the year, no sponsor for this video, thumbnail, publish date, status, scripting. Well, I can change that status now. I would say it's filming. Okay, the cool thing is you can open in a side peek when you have one of these data tables. You can also open in full page, or you can switch peek mode. So you could open it in a center peek if you knew you always just wanted to see a lot more every time you wanted more information on what you have in that table. Here I wrote down some title and thumbnail ideas, keeping track of some keywords. This whole template is his idea, and these are his resources in there. There's a really exhaustive publishing checklist in here. I think if I spent so much time checking everything off, I feel like that would take a lot of time away from just editing it and getting it done. I'm going to edit this video. I'm not handing it off to someone else to edit this time, so it's different when you're handing it off. This was tricky to find, by the way. When I went into the community part of templates for Notion, I actually was searching the word script and it came up. And then when I searched the word video production, it did not come up. Here's where my script is. And the script for this one is very detailed. I don't remember the last time I wrote out a script like this. But then, you know what? Then I noticed Jules has a simple content planner. And she was inspired by Thomas Frank. That's interesting. I started to think, oh, what would it be like if I used her planner instead, because I kind of like her vibe. I guess first thing for me to see it properly with my brain would be, my first brain, not my second brain, would be for me to change the font. This is the only font that kind of gives me visual clarity in here. It's great when you can start off with someone who's got the main skeleton of what you want. You can go in and you can change the title, change a status, change the type of column it is. You could delete all these tags or just go through and edit them one by one, call them something different. You could call that Insta, TikTok. These don't have to be so wide and take up so much room on the page. Yeah, Jules, I might be using another one of your templates. Thanks. Sorry, Frank. And as I've been cruising through Notion, I've also saved some templates that look cool. I'm not using them yet, but I might later, so I saved them. This to me seems like something we could really use around our house. I might use this one, or I might integrate it into one I already have going, or I might just take some ideas. I have a different page for recipes, so that wouldn't be here. I'll show you what I have. I just created this one on my own. You can remove a cover, or you can add a new one. It's really easy to do. They actually have a direct link to Unsplash, so you can search for anything you want. You could search for foliage, and there's all these pictures in there that are so amazing. You can also change your icon out. You can use an emoji. They have a whole bunch of emojis in here. You can upload a custom one if you want to get into it. And the cool thing about these is you can actually change their color. It's like a page of contents for a little mini website about our house. We were trying to choose kitchen appliances and it was driving me nuts because I just needed photos. So this was a little labor intensive. I actually just took screenshots from the website where we were thinking about our dream appliances, and I just needed to keep track. Oh my gosh, what are the prices? What do they look like? What the heck are we talking about? Check out this fridge. Black interior, isn't that the craziest thing you've ever seen? I actually added a quick note right into here. I did a data table, which is really easy, /database. Right from here, I mean, if you choose a regular one, you can also choose another view, but right away you can add a gallery view database. And this is where I got confused at first. Oh my gosh, I don't have a database made for this. How do I do this? But all you do is you just click new database and there you go. If you have a picture of something on your desktop and the file has a name, like this file I have, it doesn't have a name, it's just a screenshot. But if I had been organized and named the file, I wouldn't have had to click through and name the file. It would have already been named. So this time I've named my screenshot, dump it in here, and you can see that it's automatically going to populate with the name of it. I was reading through a home magazine and I was getting tons of great ideas, and I don't know about you, but often I will rip pages out of a magazine, put them in a file, and then I never look at them again, and then my house is cluttered up with all these ripped up magazines. But I discovered with the Notion app, I could just take a picture within the app and get it right into the list. I captioned from the magazine that it came from just in case I ever wanted to know. Then I put some thoughts underneath to remind me why I saved this picture. It's all about the sconces. I mean, there's a lot going on in that picture. I might not remember. And that's what happens when I tear pictures out of magazines sometimes. I have no idea why I tore them out. But that's electrical. And then here in the primary ensuite, I saw this cool mirror, and I hadn't seen something like that before, that angles like that against the wall. Boom, I took a photo. I was able to save it right to this list. Not only that, because I took the photo in Notion, it didn't take up any space on my camera roll. It wasn't there. Magic. But you can also just create a new page. Again, / new page. And then the page is there ready to go. You can, if I do one like this, I usually like to do it with an icon. And you can always add the icon later. So if you regret not choosing an icon at the beginning, you can always change it later. The lacrosse button is not speaking to me. So there you go, scales. All right, and then you can customize to your heart's content. Another free template in Notion that I think is really cool is this club homepage. It's so organized. Ideas, you go through members, it's already got templates on all these different pages set up for you. Finance and sponsorship. This is a really great setup if suddenly your club is getting a new admin person. Initiatives, promotional materials, it's all right here, ready to go. PNG files, SVG files, slogans and messaging. I love it. This is very organized. Another one I think is great. I don't think I'll ever be using. At first I saved it because I thought maybe I can use this for something else. I must have gotten this in the community area because it looks like Regina did this one. Super rich, full of data, source database. All these tips to use it. I'm not looking for a house right now, but this seems like a great way to organize house hunting. And finally, maybe these other ones will appeal to you, but they just didn't work for me. This happiness bar journal is another one I found in the community area, and it's so cute. And actually, one thing I definitely want to figure out is how to create these nice big blocks instead of just the header bars. Those look awesome. But this template actually just proved to me what I already knew. I don't want to see GIFs on my page. GIFs, however you say it, because they are distracting, and I want a page that's kind of restful for the eye, or at the very least, simple and straightforward. Another one that is really basic and is probably a good way to jump into a table, and I tried to do it. I tried filling it out. It wasn't working for me. I actually spent a lot of time trying to find a good template for tracking habits in Notion, and I actually gave their basic one a try. Then I realized I just don't want to go into my computer to track my habits, or even go 3 clicks deep on my phone. It's got to be easy and fast, or I'm not going to track them. So I ended up using a free app called Habity. 1 click, you're in, you can see the last 5 days of your habits. Don't judge me, I haven't been getting them all done. So easy to click a habit and tick it off. You can personalize these. You can also color code it any color you want from a selection of 9. Pretty darn good for a free app. You'll notice this circle is telling you how well you're doing in your goals. You can see how well you're doing for the month. And another cool thing is that you can actually go in and set yourself a reminder. It says question, doesn't have to be, so you can totally personalize it. I could make it really stressful here. And you can set whatever time you want to be reminded at, which is amazing. I actually used to have a separate reminder app so that I could do this, and I can probably just delete that off my phone now. And you could go on forever with these habits. You just add a new one, you know, it appears below, and I think you could keep going, and then you'd have to scroll, but you know me, above the folds. This is a lot prettier than the Post-it note I used to use. One final word of caution. It can be very easy to get sucked into the world of Notion. Choosing templates, making everything look perfect. I'm definitely guilty of spending a bit too much time in there, especially at the beginning. But having aesthetically pleasing personal files is really what I love about Notion. The layout, the simplicity, and the ability to personalize all these individual pages, just like it's my own website for my life. Well, that's really what I like about it. So I'm not going to beat myself up too much that I've front-loaded some extra time into it. But if you're really short on time and you're just diving into Notion for the first time, well, you might want to set a timer. If you got value out of this video, give it a like and consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.